Okay, today we'll be back testing March 28th to April the 1st, 2022. So taking a look at Monday, we have no news, so we can head straight into the charts here. Let's draw up our liquidity first, so we can see here that the previous day high still hasn't been swept. So we are looking for EM1 buy overall. However, keep in mind it is possible that we could have a reversal towards the previous day low, but that's particularly the reason why we are reacting to price. We are not predicting, right? So let's see what we got here. Previous day low. Okay. And then we have our session low here. And then we have another session low here. Okay. Now let's check out ES. So ES, we can actually see that the previous day high was swept already pre-New York session. So that means we're going to be looking for EM2. However, with that being said, we can't look for EM2 on ES yet until NASDAQ's previous day high is swept. So now we pretty much have confirmation that NASDAQ will sweep its previous day high. So our overall liquidity target, at least for ES, is going to be this low here. Okay, and then we also want to see if we have any old session liquidity to draw up, which it looks like we got quite a few. Okay. So now that we have all of that marked up, we're going to go on NASDAQ on the 10-minute here because remember, we want to look for an EM1 first. So, okay, so we can see that market took out the previous day high. I don't know why I have it marked as previous day low. So now a couple things that can happen here, right? Because this got swept during New York session, either we can have an immediate 10-minute market structure shift to look to sweep out these session lows, or we could look for an EM3 model potentially if we retrace to this previous session high and have a reaction off of it. Okay, so it looks like we did not have a strong reaction off that previous session high, and we can also see here that we have a market structure shift here, which we need to identify on the 5-minute time frame. It looks like it happened just fine. So I'm going to be looking for an EM2 towards this session lows down here. Okay, now one thing to keep in mind here about this entry here is that we can see that the stop loss size actually is above 200 ticks. So this trade is actually invalid. Let me just review the rules here for you guys because honestly I just saw that there. So let's go here. I'll show you guys the rules. Okay, so we're on the rules here. Let's take a look. NASDAQ futures, if the stop loss exceeds 200 ticks, it's essentially invalid. So here's a crucial stop loss rules here, but in this case we can see the stop loss was 226 ticks. So we would not have taken that trade there, and there would not have been any other opportunities for the day since we failed to take out our target. So these next highs here are likely going to be where it's going next. So taking a look here on ES, we are still looking for a EM2. So at the minimum, I need to sweep this high right here before I can begin looking for any sells. Okay. And see, what we could have done as well with NASDAQ is we could have seen here that we never had an EM2 opportunity on ES because we never swept this session high. So overall, if we were looking at NASDAQ and ES at the same time, which is the way that I do trade, I'd essentially be waiting for this high to get swept on ES first, since these two pairs are supposed to be moving kind of hand in hand. So anyways, no entries for Monday, so let's hop over to Tuesday. Okay. Okay, taking a look at the news for the day. We have ADP non-farm, and then GDP at 8:30. So because, oh sorry, actually that's Wednesday. My bad. So Tuesday we have Jolt's jobs at 10. So that we only need to mark out one buffer for the day. So let's do that really quickly here. Awesome. There's one buffer. Let's draw up the other one. Okay, there's one. And there's two. Okay, so because we swept the previous day high already, I'm going to be looking to sweep this Asia liquidity here. And before I can even look for a sell, I first at the minimum need to sweep this session high. Or it could potentially instead just sweep another older session high, which we can identify here. Okay. Okay, now let's go on ES. Let's do the same. We're looking for the exact same thing. So that means the bias is aligned. So we're aiming for the session low. At the minimum, I need this London high to get swept. And then if market keeps breaking structure to the buy side, it's likely we're going to take out some form of old session liquidity instead. So definitely something to bear in mind, because it does happen quite a bit. So old session high. Okay, old session high. Awesome. We'll leave it at that for now. So let's play this out here. Okay, so let's see. Okay, market kept breaking structure. Let's see if we have a 10-minute bearish market structure shift. Okay, so it looks like we had a market structure shift there, but bear in mind we still are in that news buffer. So I'm not able to take any trades until after that news buffer. But in the meantime, I can have this prepared, and if it doesn't get invalidated, then we can look for it. Okay, so let's see. So pretty much, so the reason why I have that news buffer is because what happens quite often is during the news, especially red news, we could just end up getting faked out completely, and that's just not something that that we're looking for here. Okay, so that would be our entry there, given that this doesn't get invalidated. This is only going to be for 2R because of the size of the stop loss. Okay, so we would have got tagged right there. We do need to keep in mind the 10-minute break of structure as well. It's definitely crucial. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so 10 minutes. Okay, it's still within that range. Okay, yeah, so this would have been a valid loss. There would have been really no way to avoid this loss, so we'll mark this up as a loss. So March 29th, EM2, ES, and then 67. That's a very big stop loss, I can't even lie. 67 trading session, AM risk 0.5, 1 hour lesson. Okay. We can still look for an EM2 still given. Actually, the market's about to close here. Okay, so might be a different story with NASDAQ. You never really know. So let's take a look. Okay, so it looks like we swept the previous session high there. Let's see if we have a bearish market structure shift. It looks like market is going to continue levitating toward this other session high here. So see, this is something that's important to take a look at as well, because if we were comparing this with ES, right, it would have been evident that the market drawn liquidity was toward this previous session high on NASDAQ, and ES essentially the market moves, like they both kind of move in the same direction, right? So I'd be expecting price to go higher on NASDAQ. So we'd also expect price to go higher on ES. So realistically, this 1 hour lesson is not even something that I would have taken, simply because the bias was not aligned with NASDAQ. The reason why I'm not doing this side by side though is just quite often, it's just honestly annoying to do back testing like that. But yeah, there's clearly some will to keep going higher here. So we can see we swept the session high, but the market would have closed. So no entries for the day for ES or NASDAQ. So let's take a look at Wednesday. We have news 8:15, 8:30. So I'm not going to be looking for any trades until 8:40. And then we want to mark up all the other garbage. Okay. So 8:48. 8:48. Okay. And then we have news at 10:30. So let's mark up our news buffers. And then we also have news at 1. So I'm not going to start trading till 1:12. Let's do the same thing for NASDAQ. Okay. Now let's draw up our liquidity. We can see here that the previous day high does seem to be most likely, as we do have some session highs to sweep here along the way, and they're also equal highs. So this is looking pretty nice for an EM1 setup. So let's see what happens here. So let's see previous session high. Just in case though, we do want to mark up this session low, because who knows, maybe we will sweep it. We'll kind of use it as a premium array, and instead, who knows, maybe we'll go towards this previous day low, right? So that's really the reason why we need to react and not predict. Okay, let's do the same thing for NASDAQ. So previous day high is looking very good. Same story. Previous session high. Okay, previous session high. Okay, we'll start it off here on NASDAQ. Let's go on a 10-minute time frame. So we're not going to start looking for any entries until this time here. Okay. Looks like we're about to have another news buffer. A lot of back-to-back action here. Okay, so we got out of this news buffer here. Okay, we can see we had a strong reaction off of this session low. And then if we're looking for a 10-minute mark structure shift, we would have had it right here. But with that being said, we can see already that we had some sort of reaction off this order block. But overall, this is really bad PA, so I wouldn't be looking for anything at this time. I would want either this low or this high to get broken before I can consider anything. Okay, so we can see that this is looking like some sort of a fake out. But also do bear in mind, like, we have all of these relative equal highs here as well. But with that being said, we did sweep the session high here. And we also have what appears to be a 10-minute mark structure shift. But I'm not seeing any good order blocks to enter from. Like, we have this up here, which is way too much in the extreme, in my opinion. And it's also a pretty decent size order. Why does this look like this? Hold on. Okay, there we go. So, unlikely model that we got going on here, but let's take a look to see if it gets invalidated or not. Okay, yeah, I would have gotten invalidated. I'm not even counting that as an op either. That was just horrible. Yeah, it just did nothing today. Okay, let's take a look at ES. It could be a different story. So the previous session low gets swept. Okay, we're in this little area, this little range here. We would have had our 10-minute mark structure shift here, given that it's strong on the 5-minute, which we want to do this properly here. So we can see here 10-minute mark structure shift. Let's take out our Fibonacci tool to make sure that it is indeed strong. So from the wick low to the wick high, we can see it is not strong. So what we want to do is wait for a continuation candle to occur. So here we had our continuation candle. And then in terms of an entry, we'd be looking to enter off of this order block here. It looks like we already mitigated it, so not really that comfortable with this, honestly, but it is valid. Let's go on the 8-minute here to see if there's anything better. I'd extend it down to here, and then this would be a 4R towards that previous day high. Okay, so we are in the news buffer, so that means I wouldn't be executing this trade until this point in time here. Even if it does hit the order block, I just do not care. Okay, so still would not have entered this trade here at this point in time. I can see that the market retraced down into this order block and had some weak reaction off of it. So I would have closed the entry there. And we can see that market actually ended up failing to sweep any highs. So let's see here. Actually, you know what? Something I missed as well is we would have had a market structure shift here. So that's something to keep in mind. So with that being said, we can see that we almost swept the session high. Okay, so I'm not looking for a sell or a buy at this moment because nothing's really happened. So let's go on to 10-minute. Nah, it's just playing around. Yeah, okay. Nothing. Okay. Let's keep on moving. Okay. Okay, let's take a look at news. What day are we looking at here? This is Thursday. OPEC meetings, PCE price index, Chicago PMI. Keep in mind, I don't trade NFP, especially Friday, so screw that. We're not trading Friday. Thursday is going to be the last trading day for the week, so let's mark up our news buffers. And then okay, let's do the same thing for ES. Awesome. And now let's drop our daily liquidity. Here's our daily low. Previous day high is all the way up here. So right now we are looking like we are levitating towards the previous day low. So ideally I am going to be looking for a sell, but we'll see what happens here. Because we have all of these previous session highs up here as well. I'd want to see something get swept first, ideally. Because there's just way too much. So let's go on NASDAQ here. Let's see what's up. Previous day low. Okay. Previous day high is up here. Lots of buy side liquidity. It's insane. Okay. Previous session low. Okay, so let's start off here on ES. Let's see what happens. We got all these news buffers though, so probably not going to happen till after these news buffers go by. Okay, so there we swept the session low, but we're still in this news buffer, which looks like we just got out of. So we can see that the market broke a session low. Now this session low becomes a premium array. So if we have a strong break of structure to the downside, we can look for a quick sell towards the previous day low. So let's see what happens. Okay, there we go. Let's break a structure. It's still possible we can catch this for a quick scalp. Just depends if it gives us that opportunity or not. So let's see what happens. Okay, there's our order block, and then we could take this for 3R. Okay, we actually had a pretty decent entry there. Oh, what the? Okay, well, very interesting. I cannot lie with you because we didn't even touch the previous day low. So I guess it was just looking for a crazy, absolutely crazy fake out. But that is a valid, very valid loss for EM1V2, which is interesting because the EM1 in general has a really low loss rate, but it does occur. 28 ticks. ES, this is the Thursday. EM1V2, ES, 1R, risk 0.5, AM stop loss was 28, I think. Okay, moving on. Pretty much, if I get a strong 10-minute market structure shift, which actually, oh, you know what? Wait. Oh, okay. Whoa. Okay. You see right here. Okay, this is why we have the break even rules. Okay, because this is actually very important. We can see here that we had another 10-minute break of structure. Why? Because we created this low, the market returned to an area of a premium, we left a gap, we swept that low again. So, and this occurred after the entry. And if you guys have watched the break even rule video, we actually know that that trade would have been set to break even, which is insane because I almost missed that. This is why it's important to be reviewing this backtesting. Okay, so this is actually not a loss, it's a break even. Interesting. Okay. So, actually, whoa, I need to journal that properly because I would not have seen that there. So, set BE would have been breaking that low. So, let's put the new photo here. Okay. So at this point in time, we could be looking for a potential buy if we have a strong 10-minute market structure shift. And the reason why for that is because if market was really this close and chose to have a reversal, this is just one massive fake out to take out all of this trend line liquidity that we have here. Like literally, look at that. This entire thing is just nothing but trend line liquidity. It's almost beautiful. So let's see. 10-minute mark structure shift. See if we get it or not. Okay. Looks like we did. So this was a crazy fake out actually. In terms of order block, this is what I'd be looking at. Even though this is like a propulsion block, I would not be interested in entering off of that, only off of this here. Let's see, I'll cover the full swing, and then this is taking out all that buy side liquidity, and the 3Rs matched pretty nicely as well. Okay, there's our entry. Okay, and we would have hit stop loss. Okay, so mark that up as a loss. Now, who knows, right? Maybe NASDAQ had a different type of movement, so we could have potentially avoided that loss given on how NASDAQ was moving. The stop loss size was... Whoa, I want to make sure... Oh my gosh. Okay. Yes. Okay. Okay, yes, this is completely valid. All right, so 38. $38 ticks. Okay. Given that it is still the AM session, or you know what? Let's see what time all of this happened. Okay. So now we'd be looking for either a EM3 or EM2. So for the EM2, we do want to mark out these old session lows. There's one. There's two. No need to mark up that third one for now. Oh, okay. So previous day low here was swapped. So at this point, we can look for an EM2 or an EM3. We can see that this is a 10-minute low here. This previous day low can be used as a premium array given that we don't have a 10-minute mark structure shift. We can see here it was just a liquidity grab. So if we close strong here, we could look for a sell towards these session lows. So let's go on the 5-minute time frame here. Let's see if we have a strong break of structure. Looks like we did. So we would be able to take an entry off of this order block here, given that it follows the stop loss size rules. Looks like it does. So we can take this for 3R. Okay, and that would have been a valid EM3 model. So that would have been a quick 3R there. See, 32 ticks, ES, EM3. Closed R 3.5, even though I risk 0.2. Okay. Oh, actually it's 32, not 36. Okay. At this point in time, the market's pretty much dead. So let's see if NASDAQ provides any opportunity. All this news garbage here. Okay, see, this is exactly what I was talking about, right? Because we can see here at 9:30, NASDAQ's previous day low got swept, right? Now, if we take a look here, I just want to move back quite a bit towards that buy that we were looking at. Okay, so at 9:30, which occurred right here, we would have known already that NASDAQ has taken out its previous day low. Now, bear in mind, we use these two pairs side by side in order to kind of determine bias, because just because one is moving a certain way doesn't mean that the others can essentially move differently, at least on a good day. So we want the biases aligned. So at 9:30, we would have known that NASDAQ took the previous day low, and for that reason, we wouldn't even have considered a buy, because we want to be targeting the same, just the exact same targets on both pairs. So the loss that we recorded here was actually invalid because it did not follow our bias. So just for this purposes, I may even start having these two side by side just to kind of provide like a real in time way, the way I'd be looking at the market. But I don't know, I'll decide that later. Okay, so actually so far we're up 3R for the week. Let's see if we have any other opportunities here on NASDAQ. So similar story, we can either look for an EM3 sell or a EM2 buy. So we can see here that we swapped some old session liquidity. Old session liquidity down here. I'm not going to draw the one all the way there. So, okay, it looks like market returned, broke the previous day low, returned to an area of a premium. And at least from here, looks like it had a break of structure. But we want to confirm that on the 5-minute. Okay, it actually looks like it did have a strong break of structure. So we could be looking here for a EM3. Now, bear in mind, like these types of EM3s are kind of risky because we just swept this sell side liquidity, but nonetheless, it is still a valid EM3 model. And the stop loss is pretty big, so we're only going to be taking this for 2R. Okay. Okay. Looks like we would have got swept there. Marking this as a loss. So 10-minute break of structure, EM3. Okay. Let's see. Definitely a risky one for sure, but still follows the rules. 187 ticks is pretty big. So EM3, NASDAQ, 1R AM 187, very big. Okay. So far, it looks like it's setting up nicely for a EM2, which we can identify once we break this high here. Simply because we had to break a structure. So where is the next swing high? It's going to be this point here. Oh, wait. Yes, okay. That's fine. Alrighty. 10-minute market structure shift occurred there. Let's confirm that with the fib tool. We can see it does have a strong break above the two red lines. So we can take this for a buy. Now keep in mind, right, because we do need to be looking at this. So at 10 a.m., let's see what's happening at 10 a.m. here. The problem I have at this moment is that, well, actually at 10 a.m., okay, we would have known on NASDAQ at 9:30 that the previous day low is the daily draw on liquidity, right? We still haven't done that on ES, right? So at 10 a.m. on ES, we still haven't taken out the daily low. So really, with that being said, looking for a buy here on NASDAQ is considered to be risky, right? Like, look, even just as an example. Okay, look, this would even be invalid anyways because the order block's too big. The likelihood of this working out is very low. Yeah, we can see it kind of just kept, kind of consolidated, and then it ended up breaking more lows. So this is the reason why it's important to keep looking at ES and NASDAQ. And the reason why I was so comfortable with this EM3 here was because we already know that ES needs to still take out its previous day low. So taking out this more sell side liquidity on NASDAQ makes sense because we know ES still needs to head down lower. With that being said, we'll be closing out the week with 2R. A little bit of a slow week, but nonetheless still important to note. So plus 2R, and that'll be the rest for the video.